Hi everyone, this is Marvel Watch, and my name is Kane. The official trailer for Thor Love and Thunder dropped last night, and it is something to behold. I want to talk about what's in it, what's not, and what we can expect from Marvel's newest adventure that will come out this July.
Kids, get your popcorn now. Let me tell you the story of the space Viking, Thor Odinson. He was no ordinary man. He was a god. After saving planet Earth for the 500th time, Thor set off on a new journey. Well, he got in shape. He went from dad bod to god bod. And after all that, he reclaimed his title as the one and only Thor. Oh, spoke too soon.
Jane?
I find the beginning here very interesting, with Korg telling a group of blue-skinned people about Thor's adventures. We see several takes with these same people, and Thor is with the Guardians at that time, which makes me think that maybe this is Nebula's home planet, from which she was abducted by her father, Thanos. I think it would be very cool for Nebula to recapture a piece of herself while also apparently helping her people defeat a threat. It seems to be the same place where Thor goes on a soul-searching mission, as we see the tree he sits under in the teaser in the background here. Locations change while we see Thor working out, still with Korg's voiceover telling his audience about it. I'm pretty sure this will only amount to a short sequence in the film, maybe even just this sequence, but we won't see much of fat Thor in it. At the end of it, Thor is physically transformed, but his mind still seems rather despondent. He is searching for himself, which includes several wardrobe changes that will probably mark his progress. For some reason he is changing his garb during the battle we saw a glimpse of at the end of the teaser. When Jane appears with Mjolnir, he wears a dark brown leather armor, but in the next frame we see him in his blue and gold new armor with a new helmet. So there's a chance he's either getting ready to fight her before she reveals herself, or there will be a fight between Thor and Mighty Thor, aka Jane Foster. That should be a treat. It looks like in that night scene when Thor and Jane meet again, New Asgard is being attacked with his guardians fighting alongside Thor. Some kind of tentacled monster seems to be attacking. This could be linked to Gore already, as he's wielding the Necro sword, which in the comics belonged to Null, and Null is linked to the symbiotes. This is not to say that these attackers are symbiotes, because I'm pretty sure Marvel can include those without Sony's consent, and we don't get a good look at them. But they could be made from the same stuff we see in the background when we first see Gore. There's no indication as of yet how Jane got her powers, and I'm kind of hoping that they are keeping it secret for the movie. She just appears, surprisingly riding what seems to be Valkyrie's flying horse. My best guess on this is that Thor was away so long that New Asgard called for a new Thor, and Jane answered that call. When Thor returns, Mighty Thor is already a part of the new Asgardian landscape, and she looks fantastic, of course.
The old ex-girlfriend.
What's it been, like 3, 4 years?
8 years, 7 months, and 6 days, give or take.
Am I, sensing feelings?
Well, you're right.
The only ones who gods care about is themselves.
So this is my vow.
All gods will die.
We get a little more of Jane and how she relates to Thor here. It's been some time since they've seen each other, with Thor knowing exactly how long it's been. The movie is called Thor Love and Thunder, and becomes very clear that they are set on delivering on the love. It's also notable that Jane's hair is a lot lighter than it used to be, blondish, and I presume this is to do with her Thor powers. There's a very interesting background here with Jane in full Thor garb and a giant hall with heads of statues. I'm wondering if this is where she gets her powers. We get another shot later with the heads of what look like different gods or other powerful creatures, including Death, and Jane raising her hammer. I'm really hyped to see what that is about. Again, I can only speculate, but I do think that Jane's ability to hold the ether in the second Thor movie, Thor the Dark World, does enable her to wield Mjolnir. She's one of those rare humans that aren't destroyed by the encounter with an Infinity Stone, like Carol Danvers and Wanda Maximoff. I'm not sure if it's like residue or if the snaps have something to do with it, but Jane is powerful, and she's worthy. and having that special connection to Thor probably brought her into position to pick up Mjolnir, maybe even put it back together. I'm sure it will all be explained in the movie, but it's interesting to think about how all of this could have happened. Now, Gore the God Butcher. I mean, Christian Bale sure does deliver on the bad guy here. He looks amazing. His whole look clashes with that of the rest of the movie, and he's not just white, but colorless. It looks like he pulls the color right out of his surroundings. It's fantastic. I'm so glad we got our first look of him now. He makes for a very visceral threat, and his look is just chilling. His motivation is the same as in the comics. He hates the gods as they have no regard for human life and only think of themselves. Of course, there's a whole backstory here with him coming from a very religious place that worshipped gods. He had a family that died and he begged the gods to interfere, and they didn't. I think it's the kind of backstory you would expect from someone who hates gods and wants to destroy them. With a necrosword, he has the means to do just that. We see a shot that is basically taken from the comics where Thor and Korg look at a giant dead creature which used to be a god, and is most probably one of Gore's victims. He means business.
I just want to say that was very, very impressive what you did back there.
He's just my first bad guy.
You never forget your first.
You are not like the other gods of kill.
Because I have something worth fighting for.
Let's see who you are. I take off your disguise. And flick.
Oh, you flicked too hard, damn it!
Should we help him?
I mean, eventually. Great.
Mount Olympus and Russell Crowe as Zeus. We actually get to see him now, and hear him. I'm not sure about the accent, but he is the same old dirty man from the ancient Greek mythology, flicking away Thor's clothes. What I gather from the cutting of these scenes, it looks like the Thors, Valkyrie and Korg go to Mount Olympus either for help against Gore or specifically to get Zeus' weapon. Valkyrie is fighting Gore with the same thunderbolt we see Zeus holding. The interesting thing about Valkyrie and also Thor fighting Gore is that these scenes are almost all black and white. Only the different powers manifest in their usual colors, with Thor's blue thunder and the gold of Zeus' weapon. It has probably to do with the place they are fighting at, which seems to be connected to Gore. It's a fantastic look. I can't wait to see that on a big screen. In direct contrast with the colorless world stands Mount Olympus with its golden sunniness. While there's also white, here it looks infused with sunshine and light, very warm. The final scene with Zeus flicking off Thor's clothes and the women and men around Zeus fainting from the sight of him is a little on the nose, probably referring to how sexuality seems to have been a lot freer in ancient Greece. We get a very loose interpretation here, which may link to one of the themes of the movie though. I do feel like we get to explore not just Thor and Jane's relationship, but I think sexuality will be one of its main themes. We have the scene from the teaser with Star-Lord, where Thor seems to want to be included in the group of people Peter Quill loves. We already have confirmation that Valkyrie will basically be the first queer hero of the MCU, and I'm pretty sure that her queen will turn out to be Lady Sif. With the trailer we've got a new poster and Jamie Alexander's name is added at the bottom. She's the only listed actor there whom we haven't seen in the trailers, so that's gonna be interesting. I'm not one of the people who want more sex in the MCU. I think Marvel is telling compelling enough stories without much of the complications that come with building personal relationships. However, if they start to include queer characters, I'm good with them getting at least the same kind of exposure as all the straight ones we've seen so far. A few days ago, 2 different runtimes for Thor Love and Thunder came out. Not from official sources though. One is just under 2 hours, the other is 2 hours and 20 minutes. It might just be that one is without the credits and the other with them, but it makes me wonder. We get a lot of story here. Thor with the Guardians, Thor searching for himself, Thor in Asgard and meeting Jane again, and all of that seems to happen before they even go on the main adventure. I'm curious how Taika Waititi pulls it all together. It looks great in the trailer and I'm really excited to see it in not even 50 days. It's gonna be epic. What do you think of the trailer? Is that all you were hoping for? What do you think of Gore? I think he's magnificent, so sinister. We are getting so much Marvel content right now, I can hardly wrap my head around it all, and most of it looks just amazing. If you like this video, show me some love and subscribe, or give it the old thumbs up. I'd appreciate it. Have a good week, be safe, and watch Marvel.